Let's go to Keefe D. Keefe D. Will they will the history books finally show that Tupac's murder was solved? Whether we believe who's here or not, dead or not, stories or not, Suge Knight conspiracies, Keefe D actually was in that car or not, he's clout chasing with the book, or no, that's actually Orlando's uncle here that's sitting in front of us, and he just jammed himself up because he's one of the stupidest criminals in the world. You can hear that in the way he talks. At least there'll be some type of closure. We want Tupac's family to get some type of closure, don't we? Don't we? You know, so let's play this video of Keefe D's dumbass talking like the idiot that he is. And this is why he better not get put up on the stand. He's just going to kill himself up there. There's no way he can sit in front of an intelligent prosecutor. There's no fucking way.
If you did not have anything to do with Tupac Shakur's murder, who do you think did?
To me, I think they witnessed Reggie Wright Jr. All he do is lie and tell stories. He even be on interviews threatening my son, you know what I'm saying? Threatening my family. It's wrong. Even Katie.
There you going his telling shit.
He be on interviews threatening my family. So it's wrong, man. It's wrong.
In that 400-page motion filed by the DA's office, one of the points that they are trying to make is that a lot of what you have said is true. So you're sort of your own witness, that you said you went to prison for selling drugs, all of these specifics, your role with the Crips. So they're saying you were accurate, so you might be accurate about the murder.
They're lying. This is a bunch of lies.
You know what else kept coming up in the court documents? Biggie's murder, and how at some point you were a suspect.
Yeah, they took my car and did forensics on it. And that car was never shot out of or nothing like that. And it's wrong because I was under the parking garage when that man got killed. When he got killed, they came running back and went in there and said, they just killed Biggie. And I was under the parking garage. That stuff happened. They just, to me, the police did that stuff. Who expert shots like that, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no competent like that or watcher in our area shoots like that, you know what I'm saying? You guys are being marksman.
So you had nothing to do with Biggie's murder?
Nothing to do with nobody's murder.
And then a name that kept coming up, and it has come up, and I think I've asked you about this before, Sean Combs.
Yeah.
Diddy, Puffy, whatever. Do you think he had anything to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur?
No, man. I don't think so at all.
What about Biggie's?
I don't think neither one. To me, it's the disgruntled police out there in our area. Reggie Wright, all he did was lie all night. I got no evidence. You took the boy, took his chain. Don't bring your guns. It just, I guess a lot of stuff from PIs. Right?
How's he talking like he's here because of Reggie Wright all of a sudden?
Investigator, and all fingers and evidence point to Reggie Wright Jr. And he brought up my name from day one.
Davis is expected in court on Tuesday for a hearing to discuss some pretrial motions. His murder trial expected to last at least a month. There are over 200 people who the state says may testify. On our website, you can see the prosecution witness list, which includes names like Mayor Oscar Goodman and Governor Joe Lombardo.
For the latest, the government is on the damn witness list. If this trial goes for 2 months, I would be shocked. How long was Diddy's? Like 2 months for Keefe D? I would be shocked. All right, what do we got with this one? Suge Knight joins TMZ Live to discuss the trial of Keefe D. Davis, who is accused of orchestrating the 1996 murder.
The trial for the murder of Tupac Shakur is underway. And there is something very interesting going on here because Keefe D, who is on trial, not for shooting and killing Suge Knight, but for
Tupac Shakur.
Tupac Shakur, rather.
Suge was in the car.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Not for shooting and killing Tupac Shakur, but for orchestrating it.
Right, for being the mastermind who, according to police, actually bought the gun, put the gun in the hands of the man who did pull the trigger that night in Vegas 30 years ago. Now, as you mentioned, you know, Tupac was in the car, but in the passenger seat. The person who was driving the car was Suge Knight, head of Death Row Records.
And, you know, a lot of the people in this case now have died. And
including the man who allegedly pulled the trigger.
That's right. But the one person who knows a lot is Suge Knight.
Is Suge.
And Suge, up to this point, has said, I ain't talking. I'm not talking. I am not talking. But Suge at least is talking to us, right? Because he is on the phone with us right now.
And I'm imagining he is going to be watching what happens in this trial very closely. And he is joining us now. Suge Knight, welcome back to TMZ Live.
What's up?
Should Suge be doing TMZ interviews right now? Though? Like, lay the fuck low.
Yeah, man.
Suge, I know you've told us over the years that you're not snitching. You're not naming any names. But it does sound like you were saying there were other people involved.
You said
beyond Keefe D.
many others.
And even though Keefe D is the guy standing trial, that there are many others involved?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say these guys' names, but everybody, one thing you got to realize, even in my book, that's why I pushed it back. It tells the details of certain things, but it's still no names involved. That's all you got to look around and see the people, even people who got the fake death row. They've been talking and talking and talking and talking.
That's a hint. He said you got to look around. It's like, yo, if you just look where you need to look, you're going to get the answers that you're looking to get answered. Like, or to the questions. Like, he's hinting at least, but Suge always was a talker. That's why he's here right now on TMZ. He used to love to fucking preach and talk his shit, interviews and all that. Hell, look at him up there at the BET Awards, right? That's like a historic moment. I'm pretty sure if he could do it all over again, he would do everything the same. That's just how Suge is.
All of a sudden, it get close to this situation with Keefe D, everybody's quiet.
So the trial for the murder of Tupac Shakur is underway. And there is something very interesting going on here because Keefe D, who is on trial, not for shooting and killing Suge Knight, but for
Tupac Shakur,
rather.
Suge was in the car.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Not for shooting and killing Tupac Shakur, but for orchestrating it.
Right, for being the mastermind who, according...
All right. Suge, sit down and stay down, man. Keep low. Keep low, man, or else I'm still surprised that he's not like forced to be in there. Like, but the legal system is a legal system. All right, let's make sure that we keep up right now on some of the names that's going to come up during trial. They got us paying attention to so that we understand when we start to cover, you know, people that were brought up in day ABC outside of Keefe D. It's going to be important, okay? So we know what's going on with Keefe D, but let's see if there's any other details in here before we get to the other names. At the center of the prosecution is a man who spent years publicly placing himself inside the Cadillac. Keefe D is charged with murder with a deadly weapon with the intent to promote gang activity. Prosecutors say the former Southside Compton Crip leader helped organize the attacks as retaliation for the beating of his nephew, Orlando Anderson, at the MGM Grand, the night of the Mike Tyson fights. And we saw the video of Pocket running over there and niggas getting stomped out. Even Suge threw some kicks in there. Didn't Suge violate his parole for being on camera kicking on him too at that time? But Davis has never claimed that he fired at Tupac. However, in previous accounts, he said he was riding in the front passenger seat and obtained the gun used in the shooting. He also described passing the weapon towards the back seat. Nevada law allows prosecutors to pursue a murder charge against someone accused of helping arrange a killing. Oh, duh. Hopefully, shit. even if another person pulled the trigger. Okay. Let's skip now to, Y'all hear Orlando. Of course, you heard the name sometimes in the streets, Baby Lane. But Orlando Anderson, he will, regardless of how this trial goes, I feel like, especially in California, I feel like hip hop history will always read, this is the man that killed Tupac Shakur. Orlando Baby Lane Anderson. Okay. For decades, Orlando Anderson was the name most often attached to the question of who shot Tupac. He was Keefe D's nephew and a member of the Southside Compton Crips, placing him in the center of the confrontation. Prosecutors say set the murder in motion. As previously stated, hours before the shooting, Tupac and members of the Death Row entourage attacked Anderson inside the MGM Grand. Las Vegas police have since described that beating as the catalyst for the retaliation that followed. Prosecutors say Anderson later joined Keefe D, Terrence Brown, and DeAndre Smith inside the white Cadillac that pulled alongside Tupac and Suge Knight. Suspicion eventually settled heavily on Anderson because Keefe D identified him as the gunman during a 2008 police interview. Once again, just like T.I. said that he tried to take it back like he was joking, whatever. Same thing that FBG Butter did. What do y'all feel when people talk about others that are deceased? You know, is that violation or not? How about one's legacy? I don't want you talking about me when I'm gone, putting something on me that I possibly didn't do, or it changes my legacy. Like, oh, by the way, that person that died, yeah, ARP did that shit. What? Don't say that while I'm here. Don't say that when I'm gone. But y'all treat that how y'all want to take it. Anderson denied any involvement while he was alive and was never charged in Tupac's murder. He died in an unrelated Compton shooting in 1998. Still, his name remains central to the case, but the identity of the shooter is no longer quite so simple. Grand jury testimony from Denvanta Lee pointed instead to DeAndre Smith, who was allegedly sitting behind Anderson in the back seat. That competing account is the one reason the trial against Keefe D does not depend on proving Anderson fired the fatal shots. Okay, so you can't get off if based on whether people's going to lean towards this DeAndre Smith or your nephew. Either way, you're still going to be accused of being in commission of the killing. You didn't have to pull the trigger, regardless of who in the car did it. All right, so then you got DeAndre Freaky Smith, the other suspected shooter. The question: Did they ever confirm if it was multiple calibers that hit the door, or recover multiple calibers of shell? Can I check that real quick? Hold on. Give me a second, people. During Tupac's shooting, did investigations ever confirm there was more than one gun that fired, or different types of shell casings that hit Tupac's car? One more. Or different calibers that were found, because the bullets possibly fragments still found in the car that was shot at. Did that ever happen? Did they ever say that it was more than one shooter, more than one gun at the same time? What do we get? From the public record, no credible ballistics findings has established that multiple guns were fired into Tupac and Suge Knight's BMW. The evidence in the prosecution current theory point towards one firearm, which was a .40 caliber Glock. Okay, so there goes that theory. So people will continue to say DeAndre Smith or Orlando, but not more than one shooter, allegedly. Smith was allegedly seated in the back of the Cadillac with Orlando Anderson, placing both men in position to fire when the car pulled alongside Tupac and Suge. For years, Anderson was widely treated as the likely gunman. Grand jury testimony later introduced another version. That's what we say. Devontae Lee testified. Who's this giving up this type of information? That Smith told him Anderson could not get a clear shot, so Smith took the weapon and fired instead. The account directly challenges Keefe D's earlier statements implicating his nephew. Okay. What's the government going to do with that at trial? Meanwhile, Smith was never charged in Tupac's murder and died in 2004. His alleged confession therefore reaches the case through another witness rather than Smith himself. A little bit of telephone game you're dealing with there too. Terrence T. Brown, the Cadillac's alleged driver. Terrence Brown is the least familiar member of the four-man group prosecutors say rode in the white Cadillac, but his role helps complete the picture of how the shooting unfolded. Brown was allegedly behind the wheel with Keefe D in the front passenger seat, Anderson and Smith in the back. In his memoir, he wrote some shit too. In his memoir. Oh my God. Did you get what do they call that shit that you get from the government or the authorities? Immunity before you wrote this memoir? Jesus Christ. In his memoir, Keefe D, or could it be a memoir that came out after he passed? Keefe D said the group was driving towards Las Vegas Boulevard when they spotted Tupac leaning out the Suge Knight's BMW. We know the story of that. According to that account, Davis told Brown to turn the Cadillac around before they pulled alongside Tupac's convoy. Prosecutors now use those statements as part of their argument that the encounter was not random. Well, we know that piece too. Brown was never charged in Tupac's murder. Why not? As the driver. Why not? Well, then again, nobody else was ever charged either, so it makes sense. Keefe D is being charged for running his mouth 30 years later, but he died in 2015 after being shot at a medical marijuana dispensary in Compton, leaving Keefe D as the only alleged occupant of the Cadillac still alive. See, the thing with Orlando being killed too, that was allegedly like a shootout where he just got the worst of it over some drugs or over some money that was owed or something. And I feel like somebody like Orlando's like, it's a target on his back forever. You got even random fans that'll do that to you in the name of Tupac, let alone all these gang affiliates. And so I'm not shocked. I mean, for Keefe D to still be around is damn near kind of shocking. Has he stayed in California the whole time? People want that type of stripe for Pac. Suge Knight, the eyewitness sitting beside Tupac. We don't need to read this because we just heard from Pac. As of right now, he's not talking. Or he's not going to be involved in the trial. Idi Amin, a view from the car behind Tupac. Let's read this one. One of the clearest eyewitness accounts came from Malcolm Idi Amin Greenridge of the Outlaws, who was riding in the vehicle directly behind Tupac and Suge Knight. Greenridge or Greenidge said he saw four men inside the white Cadillac moments before the shooting. However, he could not identify which passenger fired, but he told Los Angeles Times that the gun came from the back seat and extended through the driver's side window. Greenidge also said he caught a brief look at all four occupants as the Cadillac passed. The account matters because it supports the basic configuration prosecutors have described for years, that four men were in the Cadillac with the shooter positioned in the rear. It does not settle whether Orlando Anderson or DeAndre Smith pulled the trigger, but it places the gun in the part of the car where both men were allegedly sitting, which still, both of those guys, either one still can fix Keefe D, it said earlier. Who the hell is, Gaddafi? Okay, the witness police never got. Is this another? He's another outsider. I mean, outlaw, right? Gaddafi may have been able to identify someone inside of the white Cadillac. The Outlaws rapper was also riding in the car behind Tupac. Yep, when the shooting happened, and later told police he believed he could recognize at least one of the occupants. Investigators said he seemed especially confident about the driver. I didn't know that. Came out from the Outlaws. Gaddafi stayed in Las Vegas while Tupac was hospitalized, but detectives never completed a formal identification with him. Police later said they tried to arrange a follow-up through an attorney after obtaining photographs of possible suspects. His family pushed back on suggestions that he had been difficult to reach and criticized investigators for not questioning him more thoroughly while he was still in the city. Like that one and shit like that is what be leaning towards the conspiracies, like, and people was involved in Pac shit. You know, I never really took to those conspiracies, but I always said that we sort of the niggas getting jumped and getting their heads stomped in at the MGM. What more do you need? Orlando had a reputation of a real shooter. What more do you need? It's just like shitty because, you know, that got into it with Nipsey. They had a reputation of a real shooter, you know? So Gaddafi was shot and killed in New Jersey in November of 1996, less than 2 months after Tupac's death. He was 19. Whatever he might have been able to confirm about the Cadillac was never recorded. Damn. Oh, there's another person? Who's this? Tupac's bodyguard, Frank Alexander, driving the vehicle directly behind Tupac. Suge Knight put Frank Alexander close enough to catch a brief glimpse of the shooter as the Cadillac opened fire. The bodyguard later said he believed he might have been able to identify the man if investigators had shown him photographs or arranged a lineup. I mean, I get the whole thing of bodyguards and security driving behind you because maybe in your mind, nothing is ever going to happen in this car. We need these guys with us wherever we get out. And we cruise into Las Vegas Strip and all that. We want this look of Suge and Pac in the BMW, maybe. And I'm not trying to say that security could have did anything about this situation. Sometimes the drop is the drop. Look at Gucci Mane's security. Did they help him? They couldn't do shit. You know, the drop is the drop. The situation is the situation. The moment is the moment. But if security was in the car, I don't know, maybe some return fire. You never know. I bet you them security guards is probably like going like this, like, thank God we wasn't in the car. To be honest, no security guards want to be in a fucking shootout or get shot at. None of them. All right. They get paid to try to protect, try to maybe forecast, make you feel secure, help out, provide a buffer, provide a deterrent. But if it goes down, like if somebody just hops out of a bush and lets off 30, what are you going to do? You know, people die with guns on their hips and all types of shit. The situation is the situation, you know? So moreover, Alexander became an outspoken critic of the original Las Vegas investigation. Months after Tupac's death, he complained the detective had never brought him back for a meaningful identification, despite what he told them at the scene. Police disputed the entourage's account and argued that several witnesses had not been fully cooperative. I'm not surprised at that. Detectives eventually interviewed Alexander again in March 1997 and showed him a folder containing photographs of possible suspects. He was unable to identify the shooter. The delay became part of the criticism surrounding how the authorities handled eyewitnesses during the earlier stages of the case. Once again, leading to the conspiracies of them being involved in this shit. Dirt Rock Lee, the man who changed the shooter narrative. What's this one? I don't remember this name. The second version of who fired the fatal shots entered the case through Devontae Lee. He was not in either vehicle when Tupac was killed, but his grand jury testimony introduced an account that directly challenged the long-held belief that Anderson was the gunman. Yeah, that he's the one, I guess, that was read above, that actually just supposedly the second person in the back seat, not Orlando, told him, and then he, you know what I mean? But that's what we said, the telephone game a little bit. That's got to be the last person. Oh, Reggie Wright. Let's go through Reggie Wright real quick. This is the person that Keefe D is blaming for a lot of the narratives around his name, despite him writing a fucking book and doing interviews. Reggie Wright Jr., from death row security to Keefe D's alternate suspect. The defense has tried to redirect some of the scrutiny towards a man whose job was once protecting death row records. Reggie Wright Jr., a former Compton police officer. And didn't he serve some time a couple of years ago? Didn't he get out recently? He served some time, right? Reggie Wright, before he served some time, he was all over the internet. He was damn near like a Charleston White, just everywhere. I'm not saying he was trolling like Charleston White, but he was everywhere because he'd been around a lot of action. So I guess his stories were click worthy, and he was taking a lot of interviews and all types of shit. I remember him. He's on the scene heavy for a second. Testified before grand jury that indicted Keefe D. Wright has said he spent much of the night Tupac was shot handling security arrangements for the club where Tupac and Suge Knight planned to go after the Tyson fight. Keefe D now tells a drastically different story. He has accused Wright and members of his security operation of orchestrating Tupac's killing, calling Wright a key suspect during interviews and through his defense. No evidence made public has established Wright's involvement. That's Keefe D and Reggie going like this. That's all it is. That's all it is. These two guys going like this. And no, Reggie White's not even placed in the car. Cut it out, Keefe D. You're grabbing for fucking straws now because y'all two hate each other. Further, Wright has repeatedly denied the accusation and points instead to Keefe D's own history of discussing the shooting. I was in charge of possibly protecting this young man, he previously told ABC's Nightline. Wright argues that Davis only began casting him as a suspect after being arrested. That's what you prime snitch shit. Him, the moment I get arrested, like Keefe D been a snitch. It is what he been a snitch. Fuck the clip that we played early. And I remember that the other day. I said, didn't Keefe D used to get accused of telling he been accused of being a fucking rat? Keefe D. Right? Wright argues that Davis only began casting him as a suspect after being arrested, despite years of statements placing himself inside the Cadillac. Genius. Fucking genius. All right. I didn't know it was going to be that much of a read, but that's what we call due diligence. And sometimes we get deep in the weeds like that over here.